Has it ever happened to you that a so-called friend comes up to you and says, oh, so-and-so has said this about you? She comes to you with gossip about yourself, but she claims to be your friend. That is when you ask yourself, if this person was really my friend, would anyone feel comfortable talking bad about me to them? Because a true friend does not create the environment for someone else to come to them and to talk bad about you. The worst type of friend to have when you are on your self-improvement journey, someone like you who's watching winter arc related videos, is to have a friend with a scarcity mindset, closed-minded, or just plainly insecure. These are the friends where negative self-talk is normalized and positive self-talk is demonized. It's almost celebrated to look at yourself in the mirror and point out the things you don't like about yourself. That is really normal to do around them. But God forbid, if you actually talk about the things you like about yourself or the things you're working towards that make you really happy, all of a sudden you're doing too much. Let's take a quick example. Maybe you said something like, I'm so proud of myself for achieving this. And they roll their eyes a bit and give you a half-hearted, okay, yeah, we get it. Almost like they expect you to downplay your achievements to make them feel more comfortable. They don't like to see you change. They don't like to see others around them evolve. It's nothing personal. It's not about you. They have issues with actually seeing others around them grow because it only reminds them of their own lack of growth. Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Hi, if you're new here, my name is Maryam, and on this channel we talk about all things fashion and lifestyle. Welcome back to my winter arc series. Today we're talking about female friendships, the 4 types of female friendships that I would avoid, and you should too, to protect your peace. And while we go through all 4, maybe have a little self-awareness test with yourself and ask yourself if you may unknowingly have any of these traits. And before we get into the video, make sure to subscribe if you aren't already and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy. The first type of friend to avoid is the deeply insecure. Before we talk about this point in more detail, I want to quickly say that there is nothing wrong with having insecurities. We all have insecurities. I have insecurities. You have insecurities. It becomes an issue when our insecurities start to impact ourselves and those around us. Now, I want you to remember, not all insecure friends are actually self-aware about their behavior. There are those who recognize their struggles and their issues and they work on them, but then there's also the type that lives in denial and completely refuses to work on them. These friends might try and mask their inadequacy with overconfidence, subtle and maybe not so subtle digs at others, or even altogether dismissing others' feelings. Instead of them working on their insecurities, they let them spill into your relationship, into your friendship. Their lack of self-awareness, their unawareness often leads to toxic patterns. They may not be aware of how their behaviors, how their words hurt others around them, but it still creates an unhealthy dynamic in your friendship that can leave you self-guessing yourself. Now, as females, we always tend to gravitate towards giving others the benefit of the doubt, and it's very common. It's in our nature. It's one of our gifts, but we should never overuse that gift. We need to be careful because it's very easy to slip into a pattern where you're constantly making excuses for others, i.e. your friends, and you start to ignore how it's impacting you. Let's take a quick example. Say you go up to your friend and you're like, I'm planning to move to a new city to chase this opportunity. It's a bit of a risk, but I feel ready. They would probably respond with something like, wow, are you sure about that? I don't think I could do that. It sounds way too stressful. They immediately downplay what you want to do and immediately project onto you all of their fears and their own insecurities on whatever it is you want to do. These are the insecure friends who will laugh at the dreams, at the goals that you have. And that is because insecure people who have a scarce mindset, the completely opposite of an abundance mindset, they will often project their own insecurities, their own fears onto you. It's very simple. If they don't believe in themselves, they have a hard time believing in others. They don't believe it's possible for them, so it's hard for them to believe it's possible for you. Projection. Whenever you share a goal you may be having with them, they often respond with something that feels a bit sarcastic. They laugh at it, they dismiss it, they say something like, oh, good luck with that, and they rarely ever give you any words of encouragement because it simply isn't possible in their minds. And now, this isn't always out of malice. It isn't from a place of malicious intent. Sometimes they genuinely cannot imagine stepping out of their own limitations that they've created in their minds. They don't actually exist. they've just created them. But it's toxic because their negativity, their so-called limitations that they've created will and can rub off on you. And that's only going to discourage you from pursuing whatever it is you want to pursue. For example, let's say you go up to them and you say, I've been loving my new workout routine. I feel so much stronger every single day. And they come back to you saying something like, oh, I don't need to work out. I naturally stay in shape without any effort. Must be in my genes. Now, what exactly is happening here? They deflect by bragging, but their comment is coming from a place of insecurity. You working out, having a consistent workout routine is something that makes them uncomfortable, the amount of discipline you have. So they feel the need to make it smaller, to make it appear smaller than it really is. Deep down, they're probably feeling intimidated by your dedication, by your consistency, by your level of motivation to make yourself better. But instead of admitting it or celebrating your effort, they make the conversations about themselves to feel superior, to comfort their own ego. And lastly, it's almost impossible to grow around these kinds of friends because it's almost like negative self-talk is rewarded in that friendship and it's celebrated. It's the normal. However, if you one day start to talk good about yourself, have positive self-talk, it's demonized. It's kind of seen like, oh, calm down. They roll their eyes. They probably make a face when you compliment yourself. It's uncomfortable to them. Always remember that positive self-talk can be deeply triggering for insecure friends. I have experienced this so many times because it highlights the contrast between your self-esteem and your willingness to work on yourself and their lack of. Passive-aggressive comments from your so-called friends have the ability to chip away from the confidence that you've built with so much hard work and effort over time. Being around this kind of friend makes you feel like you have to shrink yourself constantly for the friendship to last. It's okay to empathize with someone's insecurities, but it is not your responsibility to carry their baggage, especially if it's toxic. All right, now the second type of friend to avoid is the complainer, the overly negative, pessimistic friend who, by the way, will probably never admit that they are a complainer. They will always mask their complaining, their pessimism with being realistic. To them, they're just being real. The complainer friend will honestly only drain you of your energy because they have no interest in the actual solution. They constantly just want to vent and not do anything about their issue, whatever it may be. There's nothing wrong with venting. We all need to do it every now and then. But to make that a personality trait, that's where we need to draw the line. These friends are honestly always dissatisfied with anything and everything, and they have to make it known to everyone. These kinds of friends can create a very toxic dynamic in your friendship where you feel obliged to be their unpaid therapist. But no matter how much support, how much help you offer, nothing will change because this is just who they are and they are unaware. Or maybe they are aware but they just don't want to change. These friends criticize almost everything. There's a flaw in everything. The glass is always half empty for them and they drain your energy. Their constant negative energy can feel like a weight on your mood. Sometimes their pessimism, their negativity isn't super obvious. For example, let's say you booked a trip together and you say, I'm super excited for this trip. I cannot wait for us to get there. And then they say something like, but it's gonna be so crowded and the flights are so expensive. Honestly, I don't even know if it's gonna be worth it. Instead of sharing your excitement, they only want to focus on the bad. Their negativity can honestly just kill the mood and make you question your own excitement. As you can clearly see, these people are energy drainers. They don't give energy to anything. They take away from it. And now, while it's natural to want to support your friends, complainers rarely bring anything positive to the table because this quality trait impacts everything else in their life. Over time, their constant negativity can lead to friendship burnout, leaving you feeling frustrated and unmotivated in the friendship. And these are the types of friendships where you need to set boundaries. Protecting your own mental and emotional well-being is always essential. The third type of friend to avoid is the friend who loves to gossip, the gossiper. This is the kind of friend who almost feels good about themselves it makes them feel better about themselves when they talk bad about others, when they see others not doing so well. To them, seeing others struggling in their lives makes them feel good about themselves because they themselves are also struggling because of the type of mindset that they have. Remember, like I said in my last video, happy and confident people love seeing others happy and confident as well. It adds to their excitement through their happiness. It doesn't take away from them. And here we can see the exact opposite. This type of friend, the one who loves to gossip, thrives on sharing gossip and drama, often under the guise of being just honest or venting. While it might seem harmless at first, over time, their behavior will only erode trust and create a somewhat toxic environment in your friendship. They'll probably try and justify their behaviors by saying things like, oh, I just need to get this off my chest. But the conversation also involves unnecessarily private information about others that they did not need to disclose. They struggle to maintain boundaries and confidentiality, which makes it difficult to trust them with your own information. And what kind of a friendship is a friendship without trust? For example, they might come up to you and say, oh, so-and-so said this about you. I just had to tell you because I need to be honest with you. And it may seem like they're trying to act like the good person coming to you with this information, but ask yourself, if they were really your friend, no one would feel comfortable talking bad about you in front of them. Always remember that. Gossiping only will drain your energy, and being around a friend who loves to gossip will only drain your energy because they're constantly looking at the negatives. They're constantly enjoying talking about the negatives. They may verbally express that they don't enjoy talking about this, but you will see it through their actions that they really, really do. And unknowingly over time, if you don't cut them off, if you don't create boundaries, you will start to pick up on their toxic thought patterns. And now the fourth one is the one-upper friend. This is the friend who constantly compares themselves to you and always feels the need to one-up you, often in subtle or even not so subtle ways. This is the kind of friend who will always downplay your achievements or moments of success to make themselves seem more superior or more impressive. I once had a friend like this, and it honestly was the worst. Because at first it may seem like they're the supportive friend and they want what's best for you, but secretly they're constantly comparing themselves to you. And that's where it can get problematic because you think that they want what's best for you, and so you start to actually internalize the comments they make about you. This dynamic can create insecurity and make you feel invalidated. For example, maybe you say something like, I'm so proud of myself for finishing my first marathon. It was such a huge goal for me. And then they say, oh, that's cute. I've run multiple marathons and I also did a triathlon last year. Honestly, it wasn't as hard as I thought it'd be. This is a clear example of them downplaying your achievements because in their minds, they're constantly competing with you. So they constantly have to share something that's going to make yours look inferior and them look superior. The one-upper friend creates a very toxic dynamic in a friendship because they make everything into a competition. Over time, this leaves you feeling invalidated, unnoticed, or even inferior. No matter what you accomplish, they will always make it seem less significant. And being friends with these kinds of people will only leave you feeling like you're not worthy of being celebrated. Healthy friendships are built on mutual support, respect, and not competition. You should both want the best for each other. Alright guys, and that's all. Thank you so much for watching today's video. Comment below your favorite part of the video, give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you aren't already. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!